will shoot you in the face.
The threat was delivered in a soothing monotone. Max Dalton wasn't sure how seriously he should take it, but the oversized barrel pointing at his head suggested he should err on the side of caution. The barrel belonged to a gun attached to a spindly arm. The arm had come out of the bottom of a floating robot head. The head was of alien origin. The front of it formed pixelated eyes and a mouth out of glowing lights. Max had been informed the robot head contained the ship's AI, but he had no idea why.
Put it away, Grit.
Sarah Venn chided. Lieutenant Sarah Venn was so gorgeous she was almost a cliché. She was a Xana, with light blue skin and lavender hair. Her eyes were a glowing emerald green. Literally glowing. She had some kind of phosphorescence in her irises.
No hazing the rookie.
Max glanced at the lieutenant, then immediately shifted his gaze away. It was hard not to stare at the woman. Sarah Venn had a face that could launch 1 billion ships, and the curves to make a grown man cry. Her outfit didn't help. It was basically just a yellow bikini with a gun belt. It left very little to the imagination, but Max was imagining anyway.
He called us pirates.
Grit stated firmly.
You'll have to excuse Grit.
A third man spoke up. Captain Rex Razor Maddox was a few meters away, carefully monitoring a propane grill. Maddox was a barrel-chested brick of a man. He was clean-shaven, with dark hair and gray eyes and a jaw like a lantern. The captain wore a green shirt and black pants. His voice carried the familiar parade ground cadence of a career military man, but his eyes sparkled with humor and mischief, like he was laughing at a joke that only he knew.
He's had a thing about pirates ever since that whole booty com thing.
Max blinked. Booty com?
Oh, Void.
Sarah Venn wrinkled her nose in disgust.
Don't remind me. It took weeks to get rid of the smell.
It wasn't that bad,
said the captain.
Of course you'd say that.
Sarah Venn snorted.
It was your fault.
It was not my fault.
Maddox protested.
I was just...
No.
A new voice spoke with disapproval.
Stop.
The voice belonged to Arlen Tove. Tove was a Taniwa, a lizard man. His scales were green with red stripes. His eyes were yellow with slitted pupils. His snout was full of sharp teeth. Arlen Tove was tall and lean, wearing black wrappings that made him look like a ninja. His voice made Max think ninja too. It was low and measured and had rhythm to it, like he was reciting poetry when he talked.
We do not speak of the booty com.
Tove intoned.
It wasn't that bad,
said the captain.
We do not speak.
The Taniwa sounded deathly serious.
Of the booty com.
All right.
The captain waved a hand in surrender. He started flipping burgers.
Anyway, we're not pirates. Pirates steal ships and cargo. We're more problem solvers. Troubleshooters, if you will.
If there's trouble...
Sarah Venn began.
We shoot it.
Arlen Tove finished the phrase.
The Nomad is not a pirate ship.
Grit waggled its arm cannon for emphasis. My mistake. Max raised his hands in surrender. You're not pirates.
And don't you forget it.
Grit told him. The AI's cannon arm retracted back into the floating head. It was an impressive bit of engineering, since both the arm and the cannon attached to it were bigger than the head itself. Max knew he should leave it at that. If Grit hadn't threatened him, he would have. Say, Captain, Max asked with a smirk, what was our mission again?
We're gonna steal a ship and its cargo.
Maddox eyed the burgers on the grill critically. He started adding cheese. Steal a ship, huh? Max deadpanned. Doesn't that sound a little piratey?
I really will shoot you.
Grit warned.
You ain't shooting anyone unless I say so.
Captain Maddox spoke up.
I warned you once already, Grit. You threaten my crew again and I'll delete your ass and let Lila run the ship.
Lila?
Grit sounded mortified.
You wouldn't.
Try me, Buckethead.
The captain growled.
I've done weirder shit.
Who's Lila? Max asked.
Pleasure droid.
The captain grimaced.
Long story.
He started scooping cheeseburgers onto a plate.
Grub's ready. We'll go over the mission while we eat.
The burgers were even better than they smelled. Max chowed down while the captain rigged up a holo display.
First things first,
Said Maddox. He pulled a beer out of the fridge and sat down.
we use call signs in the field.
He pointed at himself with his beer bottle.
I'm Razor, Siraven's Brains, Tove is Shadow, and your tank. Got it?
Tank, Max repeated. Got it.
Do we really need this guy?
Grit asked.
Can't we get Quincy back?
No chance, Buckethead.
The captain informed him.
Quincy's married now, he ain't coming back.
Can we hire someone else then?
Grit deployed another robot arm and pointed it at Max.
This guy's an asshole.
Max started to object, then thought better of it. He shrugged and bit into his burger. He's not wrong.
He'd have been nicer if you hadn't pointed a gun at him.
The captain pointed out.
We need a mechanic and a heavy gunner. Colonel Zamarippa told me he's one of the best.
Your ex-girlfriend?
Siraven smirked.
Figures.
Moving on.
The captain said briskly. He swigged his beer and pulled out a datapad.
About 6 weeks ago, a deep space research vessel named the...
He frowned at his datapad.
I'm not going to pronounce that. Anyway, the ship belonged to Neva Noxie, a big-time biotech corporation out of the Throd technocracy. The Throd sent 3 retrieval teams to get it back. Lost all 3. Neva Noxie won't tell us what the science ship was working on.
The captain continued.
But whatever it is, they want it bad. They're offering a crap ton of quids if we can get our hands on their data, with a sizable bonus if we bring the ship back intact.
Maddox typed into his datapad. A holo display hummed to life over the kitchen table. It showed a map of a star system.
The ship's located in an unclaimed system. Nothing in it except a lone dwarf star.
That's standard protocol for anyone researching dangerous technology.
Siraven spoke up.
It minimizes loss of life if something goes wrong.
Well, something definitely went wrong,
Said the captain. He tapped into his pad. The display shifted to show the science ship. It was big, 5 kilometers across. The shape reminded Max of a big metal turtle.
Throd retrieval teams are no joke. The Throd government's freaking out. They want to scuttle the ship for safety reasons, but Neva Noxie talked them into allowing one more retrieval attempt. Since they only get one more shot, they've turned to the best damn troubleshooters in the empty, the Xeno Zappers.
Wait, Max frowned. Xeno Zappers? That's really our name?
I told you it was, didn't I?
Captain Maddox lifted an eyebrow. I thought you were joking, said Max. Xeno Zappers? Really?
We are the bringers of thunder against enemies from afar,
Said Tove.
It is a good name.
You gotta know your audience, Max.
The captain lectured.
Xeno Zappers might sound corny to you and me, but the translator makes it sound amazing. Our business tripled when I started using the name.
Okay then. Max was still dubious, but Captain Maddox was the guy signing the checks. Max bit into his cheeseburger to keep from saying anything else.
We're in range of the ship,
Maddox continued the briefing.
but the damn thing's scan shielded. We can't tell what happened in there.
There are 3 Throd vessels attached to it.
Grit added.
All 3 ships have power and life support, but life signs were not detected.
We'll have to go in blind.
Said the captain.
We'll lose contact with the Nomad once we're in. Our mission is to board the ship, grab the data, and try to find out what the hell happened. I want everyone geared up and ready to go at 0600. Any questions?
Max raised his hand. What was the booty cob?
It wasn't my fault.
Captain Maddox scowled.
That's all you need to know.
At 05:45 hours, Max was standing in the airlock, running final checks on his gear. He was wearing an old VTAC armored void suit. It was a far cry from the mechanized armor he was used to. It didn't even have a jetpack, just grav boots and an air recycler. It wasn't bulky, but it was heavier than it looked, almost 40 kilos. The outer layer was a tough Kevlar nanoweave, good protection against knives and low-caliber kinetics, but not much use against anything better. Max planned to build himself some proper armor at some point, but right now he didn't have the quids. Most of his weapons were on loan from the captain. The only gear Max owned himself was the VTAC and his Ratatata. The Ratatata was his pride and joy. It was a custom-built, all-purpose minigun. The Ratatata boasted 8 rotating barrels and a power source that could fuel a small spaceship. It was capable of firing 100 phaser bolts per second. The power output was adjustable. Max double-checked that it was only on level 2. He didn't want to accidentally shoot through the hull. Captain Maddox wandered in. His armor was green, sleek, and form-fitting. Max recognized it. An Astreus Mark IV, pure nanotech, so advanced it might as well be magic. An Astreus was worth more than most spaceships. Max had never seen one in real life.
You're wasting your time, you know.
Maddox remarked. What? Max frowned at the man. The captain's helmet came with a mirrored visor. Max couldn't see his expression.
The lieutenant.
Maddox explained.
I saw how you were looking at her.
Oh. Max had a sudden urge to scratch his head, but that wasn't doable in a void suit. He settled for rubbing the back of his neck. I didn't mean any offense, sir.
Being smitten isn't offensive, Tank.
The captain told him.
If you'd stepped out of bounds, I'd have kicked your ass already.
He pulled a pulse rifle off his back and started checking it.
I'm just telling you, not to get your hopes up. Siraven Zazana. They don't date outside their species. Ever. It's taboo.
Most sapiens don't.
The voice made Max jump, whirring around. It was Tov.
You humans are the only ones that try to breed everyone you meet.
Arlen Tov was also wearing an Astreus. His was black. The lizard man had a sword on one hip. There was a blaster pistol strapped to his chest and some kind of sniper rifle attached to his back. Max didn't recognize the rifle. Must be alien tech.
Not everyone.
Maddox told him.
Everyone.
Tov said firmly.
I've been in the human networks. I know about Rule 34.
We're not all like that.
The captain assured him.
Not all like what?
Lieutenant Siraven asked as she walked in. She was also wearing an Astreus. Hers was blue. Various guns and knives were strapped to her person, and she was fiddling with a boxy-looking device attached to a datapad. An omnicorder? Damn, the Xeno Zappers sure had nice toys.
Rule 34.
Tov explained.
Really, Rex?
Max could hear the lieutenant's raised eyebrow.
Is Lila not enough for you?
Aw, come on, Sierra.
Maddox told her.
You know you're the only girl for me.
Good luck with that.
Max was pretty sure the lieutenant was rolling her eyes. There was a series of whirs and clunks from the airlock. Grit floated into the room.
We are connected, Captain.
Thanks, Grit.
Maddox hefted his pulse rifle.
We're going in. You guard the ship.
Affirmative.
Grit floated closer to Maddox.
Be careful this time, Captain. I won't know to save you if you do something stupid again.
That only happened once.
Maddox told it.
It happened 4 times.
Grit corrected.
I am amazed you've survived this long.
I'm amazed I've gone this long without deleting you.
Maddox retorted.
Everyone ready?
Everyone nodded.
Let's do it then.
Maddox pressed a button. There was a hiss as the air was sucked out of the airlock. A few moments later, the hatch opened. The crew stepped into the science ship's airlock. The hatch closed behind them. It took a few more seconds for the second airlock to cycle. The door slid open, revealing a brightly lit corridor. The deck and bulkheads were metal, but someone had painted them white. Tank followed the others in, his Ratata at the ready. They stopped just inside the corridor. Sira Ven consulted her omnicorder.
Life support is fully functional. Temperature and atmosphere are habitable, and there are no known pathogens.
Known being the operative word,
said Maddox.
Keep your suit sealed.
He turned back to the lieutenant.
Life signs?
Yes,
Said Sira Ven.
there are 2 of them, but they're not Throg or any other species we have on file.
She paused.
2 of them are heading this way.
Weapons free.
The captain ordered.
Which way they coming?
There.
The woman pointed to the right, down the corridor. Max readied his weapon. 2 misshapen things spilled into the corridor. They'd been sapients once. The tattered remains of void armor still clung to their bodies. The creatures didn't have hands or feet anymore. Their appendages ended in a mass of writhing tendrils. They had more tendrils and a wide toothy maw where their heads used to be. Long tentacles extended from the bodies in several places, ending in wicked barbed stingers. The creatures let out an ear-splitting squeal when they saw the crew. One launched itself at them directly. The other sprinted along a bulkhead on all 4s.
Contact!
Captain Maddox barked. He opened fire. Sira Ven opened fire as well. Tov drew his sword and waited. Max watched lances of white light crash into the creatures as the Ratata spun up. The rifle pulses burned holes through the things, but they weren't slowing them down. The Ratata spewed a torrent of yellow phaser fire. The stream caught the creature running on the wall and tore it to bits. Max shifted to the other target. A few seconds reduced it to bloody chunks. The excess firepower scorched the paint along the deck and bulkheads, but level 2 wasn't enough to melt the metal itself.
Move up!
The captain ordered.
Let's get a look at what we're dealing with.
The closest corpse had fallen 10 meters away. Sira Ven pulled out her omnicorder. She stared at it for a moment, then said,
This doesn't make sense.
Care to elaborate, Brains?
The captain drawled. He still had his rifle pointed at the corpse.
It's organic.
Sira Ven reported.
But it's not. I've never seen anything like it.
She typed into the omnicorder.
There's a lot of cellular activity. It's as if...
She let the omnicorder dangle from its strap and pulled out her rifle.
Back! Back! Everyone back!
A tentacle whipped out of the corpse, aiming for Arlen Tov's faceplate. The lizard man jumped back, raising a forearm to block the strike. The stinger at the end of the tentacle punched right through his void armor. Everyone started shooting the corpse. Max started to do the same, but a jolt of realization changed his mind. Those creatures had been people once. If whatever had mutated them was infectious. Max flicked a dial, bringing the Ratata up to level 6. The Ratata took half a second to spin up. A blazing torrent of yellow beams erupted from the barrels. They sheared through Tov's armor, blasting his arm off at the shoulder. Max brought the Ratatata down, shredding the monster a second time. The phaser bolts were boring right through the bulkheads, turning the metal walls into Swiss cheese. Max didn't care. The other corpse stood up. Max saw blood and bits of flesh flow up its body and reattach themselves. He blasted that one apart, too. Max let the Ratatata fall silent. He switched the power setting back down to level 2, then set the barrels for wide dispersal. A hand clamped onto his shoulder. Only then did he notice the captain was screaming at him.
Tank! Tank! Cease fire! Cease fire, damn it!
Seeing he had Max's attention, the captain let go. He did not lower his voice.
What the hell do you think you're doing?
They're not dead yet, sir, Max told him.
You shot Shadow, you jackass!
The captain thundered. He pointed. Arlen Tov was a meter away, his remaining hand clamped over the stump of his shoulder. Sira Ven was next to him, omnicorder in hand.
You don't know how to check your targets?
I had to shoot him, sir. Max kept his voice level. He didn't want to give Maddox the impression he'd cracked. Those things are infectious.
Infectious?
Maddox paused.
Razor!
Sira Ven cut in sharply. Maddox turned. She pointed.
Look!
Tov's arm was still on the deck. A piece of tentacle was still attached, and the stinger could be seen clearly sticking out through the forearm. As they watched, a dozen tendrils erupted from the arm. They lifted it off the ground, trundling it back to the remains of the torn-up monster.
What in the name of money?
Maddox breathed. He shot the arm with his pulse rifle. The gun burned a hole through the arm. The hole closed. The arm reached the monster, oozing out of the remains of the armor to merge with quivering flesh as the beast put itself back together.
Tank, I stand corrected.
Captain Maddox told Max.
You can go back to shooting it now.
Yes, sir. Max spun up the rat-a-ta-ta. This time, the minigun spat cones of phaser fire instead of beams. Max didn't know if it would be enough to put the creatures down for good, but at the very least, it would be a lot harder to put themselves back together. While Max was shooting, the captain checked on the lizard man.
You all right, Shadow?
I will live.
Tov told him.
My suit has been resealed, but I can't guarantee I'm not infected.
We'll get you checked out when we get back to the Nomad.
Maddox assured him. He held out a hand to Sira Ven.
Brains, give me a sample kit.
The lieutenant hesitated, then pulled an item off her utility belt. Maddox fiddled with it until a meter-long rod came out. There was a little metal scoop at the end of the rod.
Watch your fire, Tank.
Maddox ordered.
I'm going in.
Max stepped to the side, still pouring death into the enemy. The captain stepped closer, leaning in and dipping the scoop into a pool of wriggling blood. He pressed a button, and the scoop snapped into a sphere. Maddox stepped back. The sample rod retracted into a little metal tube.
Razor,
Sira Ven spoke up.
more life signs incoming.
How many?
Asked the captain.
Too many.
Said the woman.
The creatures are escaping.
Said Tov. He pointed. Max couldn't see much over the rapid yellow fire cones spitting out of his minigun. He squinted. Then he swore. The creatures weren't putting themselves back together anymore. They were liquefying. Blood and gore poured themselves through the holes Max had blasted in the deck.
Let them.
Said Maddox.
Everyone back to the Nomad, now!
The airlock was only 15 meters away. Max hustled, still spraying the corridor with his minigun. He could hear screeches, a lot of screeches. He stopped shooting when he entered the airlock, but he kept his gun trained on the hatch. The screeches were getting louder. The airlock took 30 seconds to cycle. It felt like an eternity. The crew all but ran into the Nomad's airlock.
Grit,
Maddox shouted.
disconnect us from the science ship.
The locking mechanism won't disengage while the airlock is cycling.
The AI told him.
Do it now!
Maddox thundered.
Get us out of here!
Affirmative.
Said the machine. There was a terrible wrenching sound. The ship bucked, jerking Max's feet out from under him. He looked up to see the front of the airlock had been ripped away. Sira Ven was hanging out of the edge of the ship. Only the captain's firm grip on her wrist kept her from floating out into space. Maddox reeled the lieutenant back in. He pulled her close, holding on a few seconds longer than strictly necessary. Max got to his feet. There was no sound, but the flash of gunfire caught his eye. Tov was shooting at the science ship. Max turned to look. The hull of the science vessel had been breached. Writhing masses of teeth and tentacles launched themselves into the void. They were heading right for him. Max opened up with his minigun. The phaser blast didn't have a lot of knockback. Max hoped it was enough. His concern proved unnecessary a few seconds later. The creatures got smaller and smaller as the Nomad accelerated away. Captain Maddox's voice came through on the comms.
Grit, get the shields up. Get us 10,000 miles from the research ship, then change position as necessary. Don't let those things within 500 miles of us.
Affirmative.
Said the AI. Miles? Max blinked in surprise. You don't use metric?
I'm old-fashioned.
Captain Maddox pulled open a cabinet and threw a bundle at Max.
Tank, help me get the hull patched. We can't run a decontamination in the vacuum, and we're not going into the Nomad without it.
The patch kit was nanotech. It looked like a big sheet of saran wrap. It only took a few minutes to get a good seal. Max had his doubts about the effectiveness of the decon, but there was nothing they could do about it. Maddox ran it twice. Then they entered the ship.
Lieutenant,
Maddox ordered.
take Tov to the infirmary and get him checked out.
He handed her the sample bottle.
Then run every scan on this you can think of. I want to know what these things are and how to kill them.
Yes, sir.
Siraven and Tov left.
Max, you're with me.
Captain Maddox headed for the bridge.
We're gonna run an experiment.
The experiment turned out to be target practice. The Nomad had a lot of guns, and the captain tried them all. Hundreds of tentacle monsters had spilled out of the science ship. Maddox singled out a few as a control group and opened fire on the rest. The void didn't seem to bother the monsters. It took them a few minutes to figure out how to maneuver, but soon they were expelling bits of themselves in a gory imitation of jetpacks. It was gross, but Max was more worried about the implications. Whatever these things were, they weren't stupid. Indestructible tentacle monsters were bad. Indestructible tentacle monsters with problem-solving were worse. A lot worse. Maddox didn't shoot them for long. After a couple of minutes, the survivors turned around and got back on the science ship. A minute after that, they sealed the hull breaches with some kind of resin.
I know what they are.
Siraven said as she walked onto the bridge. Arlen Tov followed silently.
Do tell.
Said the captain.
They're multi-differentiating organisms.
The lieutenant had removed her helmet. Sweat plastered her hair to her head.
Shapeshifters. Modular cells.
Maddox gave her a look.
Wanna dumb that down a bit?
Siraven thought for a moment. She asked.
Do you know what a stem cell is?
The captain scratched his head.
Those are the ones babies are made of, right?
Close enough.
Said the woman.
Stem cells are the earliest stage of cell development. They can self-replicate, and they can turn into any other type of cell.
Got it.
Said Maddox.
Baby cells.
The thing is,
Siraven continued.
once a stem cell turns into a different type of cell, it's not a stem cell anymore. It can't change back. Once it becomes a blood cell or a neuron, it's like that till it dies.
I'm guessing these ones are different.
The captain remarked.
Very different.
The lieutenant agreed.
These cells can change their nature at will. They can recycle organic material to replicate very quickly, and they can form structures I've never seen before. They're going to be really hard to kill.
Siraven continued.
Nothing less than incineration will work, and they'll regenerate if a single cell survives.
They can also infect other tissues.
Arlen Tov spoke. He raised his remaining hand in front of his face and bowed his head.
You saved my life, Max Dalton. I will not forget.
You're welcome. Max gave him a nod. He grimaced. Sorry about the arm.
It will grow back.
Tov told him.
Okay,
Said the captain.
so they're shape-shifting monsters that can kill us if they touch us. Anything else?
There's one more thing.
Siraven gave the sensors a worried look.
The cell structures vary a lot, but they seem to maintain neutral traits regardless of the form.
Neural traits?
Maddox frowned.
Like brains?
Brain tissue.
Siraven confirmed.
Whatever else they are, the cells are always brains. Those things out there might be smarter than we are.
The captain convened a planning session over breakfast. He liked to eat while he talked. Max approved. Max was a big guy. He needed a lot of calories.
Are you sure we should be doing this?
Arlen Tov wondered.
It would be wiser to destroy the ship and leave.
If we don't get the data, we don't get paid.
Maddox reminded him.
Blasting them out of the sky won't work anyway. They can survive in space.
Even so,
Said Tov.
those creatures are world killers. If they can learn to harness technology, they will be a threat to all life.
All the more reason to get this done right.
Siraven spoke up.
We're with you, Rex.
Captain,
Grit spoke up.
the research vessel is moving.
Moving?
Maddox froze with his fork halfway to his face.
It's firing thrusters erratically.
The AI clarified.
I think someone is experimenting with the controls.
They're teaching themselves to drive.
Maddox swore.
We better get moving before they figure out how.
20 minutes later, they were all back in the airlock. Max had his rat-a-ta-ta. The rest of the crew were carrying big guns of their own. The Nomad had been depressurized, and the patch covering the missing airlock had been removed. Captain Maddox spoke into his comm.
Everybody ready?
After a chorus of affirmatives, Maddox nodded. He spoke again.
All right, Lila. Are we in position?
Just the way you like it, Daddy.
A woman's voice answered. It was sultry and seductive in a way that creeped Max out a little.
I'm so glad you turned me on again. It's been so long.
Oh, for the love of money.
Maddox muttered.
Spare me the pillow talk, Lila. Just make with the holes already.
You're not making this better.
Sira Ven pointed out.
Shut up.
Maddox somehow managed to give her a look despite his face being hidden behind his visor.
Here it comes, Daddy.
Lila purred over the comms.
Get ready for insertion.
Sira Ven's omnicorder had taken a good scan of the science ship's interior. They'd used that scan to find the bridge and the main labs. The Nomad hovered over the research ship. It was close, less than 100 meters. Cutting beams launched out from the Nomad. They spun a circle into the hull of the research ship. As soon as the circle was finished, the hull fell inwards, pulled down by the ship's artificial gravity. Air rushed out of the hole, followed almost immediately by monsters. The Nomad launched balls of plasma into the hole, catching the creatures along the way. The plasma would turn every inch of metal it touched white hot, and it would reduce anything organic to ash.
That's our cue,
said the captain.
Science team, go, go, go!
Captain Maddox led the way, jumping into the vacuum. Sira Ven and Grit's flying head followed. Maddox spoke over the comms.
Lila, move to secondary position and make an opening for the bridge team.
Yes, Daddy.
Lila acknowledged the order. The hull of the science ship blurred as the Nomad moved. A few seconds later, it stopped. Cutting beams made another hole. Plasma followed.
Now.
Arlen Tov ordered. On it, Max acknowledged. He took a running leap out of the Nomad. Max noticed immediately that he had misjudged the jump. He would smack face first into the hull about 10 meters from the hole. Damn it! Max missed having a jetpack. Max was halfway to the science ship when he felt a hand grab the back of his neck. Tov, the lizard man, kept a firm grip and used his jetpack to correct Max's course. Max tried to think skinny thoughts as they passed through the opening in the glowing metal hull. It was a hard landing. Only Tov's hand on his neck kept Max from falling. Max's butt clenched. He was surrounded on all sides by glowing metal. He'd attached high-grade insulation to the bottom of his boots, but if any other part of him touched the ship, it would scorch right through his VTAC. They were in a corridor, standing atop 4 circular sheets of metal that used to be floors and ceilings. Max couldn't have climbed down without touching anything if Tov hadn't helped. The man still only had one arm, but it wasn't slowing him down any. Max checked behind him. He saw 2 of the monsters. They were 20 meters down the corridor, pulling themselves together and skittering away. Max saw the sizzle as their flesh slapped along the hot metal of the deck. Good enough. The other side of the corridor was more of a problem. The hallway stretched for 90 meters between Max and the door to the bridge. 60 of those meters were burning metal, but the rest was filled with tentacles and teeth.
Do you have them?
Tov inquired. Watch our 6, said Max. He dialed his minigun to level 4 and set the dispersal wide. I got this. The rat-a-ta-ta got to work. 100 phaser blasts a second tore through the corridor. Max started forward, carefully waving the minigun to incinerate the monsters and bathe every inch of the bulkheads in phaser fire. He messed up a couple of times. Too many hits burned holes in the walls, and at one point a section of ceiling melted.
Contact!
Tov warned. Max glanced behind him. 6 tentacled freaks were charging them from the rear. Their limbs were burning with every step, but they were coming in fast.
Grenade out!
Tov lobbed a sphere in front of the things. A tentacle extended from the lead monster. It snatched the grenade out of the air and threw it back. Tov hit the sphere with a blaster bolt. The grenade went off, releasing a big cloud of yellow gas. Acid. The creatures plowed right through it, but they came out half-melted. More importantly, the gas obscured the second item Tov threw out. The device itself attached to the molten deck. A glowing metal rod raised out of the center of it. When the lead monster came within 4 meters of the device, a bolt of lightning launched out. The electricity jumped from one creature to the next. The lightning dropped all 6 of the creatures, leaving them writhing on the deck.
Rangolian shock mine.
Tov explained.
It will discharge continuously until it runs out of power, which it will do in 10 minutes.
It didn't take long to reach the entrance to the bridge. By the time they got there, the corridor was empty. The shapeshifters in front of them had all been incinerated or run away. At least Max hoped they had. He didn't like the idea one might have gone liquid and stuck itself to his boots. The 2 of them stopped 2 meters from the bridge door. The hatch was open. Tov pulled another device from his belt. He tossed it at the door. A tentacle whipped out from around the door and smashed it. The tentacle went for Max next. The human spun up his minigun as he jerked back. He was too slow. Tov wasn't. The lizard man caught the tentacle just behind the stinger, stopping it mere centimeters from Max's chest. The tentacle exploded into a mass of tendrils, wrapping around Tov's lone arm. Max sprayed it down. Motion caught his eye. The bulkhead next to Tov ripped open. A monster spilled into the corridor. Max whirled the rat-a-ta-ta around to hose it down. Tentacles shot out with blistering speed. Tov danced back, a blade suddenly in his hand. 3 of the tentacles hit him, knocking him down. Another creature darted out of the bridge hatch. Max switched targets. The rat-a-ta-ta put the thing down. Tov was back on his feet. He'd put his sword away. There was a plasma caster in his hand. The caster sprayed a cone of white-hot ionized gas, burning away the creature that had hit him.
You all right?
Max calmed.
I am unharmed.
The lizard man reported.
I severed the stingers before they struck.
Is your suit breached?
Max asked.
No.
Said Tov.
Good.
Max blasted Tov with the rat-a-ta-ta. The writhing blood that had been crawling on his void armor turned to ash.
You seem to like shooting me.
The lizard man noted, voice wry.
Is there something I should know?
I just like shooting things.
Max told him. The corpse by the bridge hatch was wriggling. Max shot it some more.
Are there more?
I'll run a scan.
Said Tov. A moment later, he said,
No life signs on the bridge.
Okay,
Max let his minigun fall silent.
let's go.
The bridge was a neat, orderly place. It had been painted in the same sterile white as the rest of the ship. Consoles rose up out of the deck in orderly rows. Tov moved to one of them.
Cover me.
He said.
On it.
Max acknowledged. He took a position next to the ninja lizard, his rat-a-ta-ta at the ready. Max kept his head on a swivel, half expecting creatures to burst in through the floor and ceiling. It didn't happen.
Course set.
Tov sent a general broadcast over the comms.
I've locked the controls with an encryption key. We have 43 minutes to escape.
Acknowledged.
Captain Maddox answered. He sounded a little out of breath.
We've got the data. Head for the secondary objective.
Acknowledged.
Said Tov. He nodded at Max and left the bridge at a jog. Max followed. They made it 80 meters down the corridor before more creatures showed up. The next 20 minutes were a desperate running fight. Tov led the way. Max shot anything that moved. Eventually, they reached an airlock. On the other side of the airlock was one of the Throd retrieval team ships. Tov set up another shock turret to cover them while they boarded. Max stood guard while Tov got the ship moving. An hour later, he was back on the Nomad. Grit, Captain Maddox, and Sira Ven arrived a few minutes later, having stolen a retrieval ship of their own.
Lila,
Maddox ordered.
let Grit take over. Good work today.
Thank you, Daddy.
There was a pause. Lila's voice turned extra husky.
I'll be waiting in your quarters, like a good girl.
Sierra Ven gave Maddox a look. The man cursed under his breath.
I have control, Captain.
Said Grit.
The research vessel has crashed into the star. Several hundred infected have escaped. I am shooting them in the face.
You do that, Grit.
Said the captain.
Turn those bastards into vapor.
He took off his helmet and gave Max a smile.
Well, Max, what do you think of your first mission?
I think I need a beer, Max told him. Is it always like this?
Pretty much.
Maddox shrugged.
The Xeno Zappers are the best. We take the jobs no one else can do.
He turned to Tov.
How'd he do?
He shot me again,
The ninja lizard said with amusement.
but his performance was satisfactory.
Satisfactory.
Sierra Ven's eyebrows went up.
That's high praise coming from him.
Yeah, it is.
Maddox agreed. He clapped Max on the shoulder.
Good work today, rookie. Welcome to the team. Hi, friends. I hope you enjoyed that episode of Xeno Zappers. Click right here for another episode with the same character.